Well, hello and welcome in our bed painting Friday. I have a couple things that I would like to work on today, but I'm not sure how much I'll be able to actually accomplish. Luckily, you won't be able to see me because that's probably the worst part when it comes to my streams. I can't really look at me anymore, so it was enough of me for this year, I believe. So it's going to be fun. I have still a couple things that I have to adjust because I'm not sure how far I can push this and how much I'll be able to accomplish today, since again I have a slightly darker environment around me, and you're gonna hear like a little noises around because I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to set up the camera but slightly different way, because if you remember, I showed you those little bed painting Friday paintings. Yeah, that was me dropping things. So don't worry about that. I apologize for the noise from that. And the reason why it's like all different is because I want to bring camera right here, and I'm not sure if my camera is gonna work or not. It's always like yeah, it's working. So this is my palette when it's stripped from the top glass, and the reason why I put it away is, let me just maybe make it larger so it's so it would be visible a little better for you. There we go. Because I would like to talk about something that I don't know if it's extremely important, but there's something that you should be aware of. And these little bed painting Fridays that I worked on. Remember, I told you that I showed you that I put them into a frame. So there's one thing that I want to talk about when it comes to frame. So this is how it looks actually after being framed in my local frame dealer. That sounds weird, but and the lighting, it's slightly weird. So I apologize for that, but you know, it's because I really don't have enough light here right now. The important thing that I actually want to talk about is that depends on your local framing shop, and mine it's really good when it comes to you like it? Yeah, thank you. It's a thing that I really want to talk about, and I want to make sure that you will take. See, my camera is going to do this, and I won't be able to talk about it. Let me just have fun with the camera a little bit. Work. Okay. Something that I want to talk about and point out actually is that you might have a great craftsman when it comes to framing. That means that it's going to make nice angles, it's going to be crisp, and it's not going to be you know, like crooked. It's going to be 45 degrees everywhere in the corners. You will always find like a little, like really small, maybe like in the corners, like you might find a little bit like a problem sometimes, but I think it's a part of the frame. It gives it the character. So I don't really care about that. It's amazing how a proper frame changed the painting like that, right? Isn't it? That's exactly what I want to point out to you, that you have these bed painting Fridays, and I actually let me bring another one because I was working on the different frames, And this one's going to be the one that looks like a crab. If you remember, we laughed about it and the wrong composition. And I was really, really annoyed by that. So let me just do a little, let me position it a little so you can see them and we can compare and contrast perhaps. Compare and contrast them. So there's a different frame right here. They're all full wooden frames. They have like a little patina on them, and they're just being treated a little bit with like a with a paint to darken them. And maybe I can bring this one as well. But this one has the same frame. But no, here I have it. I have a one more slightly different one. Oh, camera, come on. Be friendly today. Be friendly today. Be friendly today. And this is like a little smaller one. And let me maybe do this. Let me move them away and show them next to each other. So you have a and I was experimenting with the different frames, and I want to, you can choose a cheaper option, you can choose a more expensive option, you can use a smaller frame, a bigger frame. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters to me actually is that they look, that they belong to that frame, right? Right now it looks kind of strange because you have two different frames, and one looks way more expensive, way more like a rich. I'm talking about the big one, right? And when you would never even not you wouldn't. It's difficult to imagine that a thickness of a frame, right, this big, with the painting this small. It's just like these two combined together would cover the painting completely. Right, so it would be kind of a counterintuitive to do that. But think about this as a really, really kind of a big door into a small, intimate viewing that you are creating for a viewer, and also for a person that you want to maybe give it to, or maybe for a person who you want to sell it to, or your patrons, or whatever the case it might be. It is, yes, it is counterintuitive, but it works. And it works because it's that, I think that the good frame, it's a extremely important part of making a full, complete viewer experience, right? So it's not about the painting, it's also about the frame. That's, you might remember, I mentioned that I'm going to set up my painting into a frame before it's finished, only because I need to adjust it with a frame. It's an old school practice. I don't think that people talk about it that much, and I don't think that people care or even know that they what you do. And I don't want to say that I'm against these minimalistic frames, not at all. It's just all of these frames, all of these ideas of frames, they have a certain place, and a certain place. They have a meaning. How would I put this? They have a meaning in a certain situation, right? We used to see a lot of these We used to see these thin frames, especially when it comes to photographs. These are not photographs; these are paintings. And I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but I always considered these to be two different categories. They share a similar idea. It's a two-dimensional surface that reflects or on which we projected three-dimensional space, or illusion of a three-dimensional space. But it is different. And since it's oil, and we are using with a really, really high quality materials. When it comes to oil, it's like the highest, you know, we talked about is in length multiple times. So I don't want to go into this because that's not really a reason why I'm showing you this to give you a long lecture on oil paint. But it's a rich, expensive material, and when I say expensive, I mean expensive in terms of not necessarily the cost a lot, but expensive in terms of how much you can show with it, how much you can play with all these, how would I even put this? With these variations of saturation and thickness, and it is creating like that kind of a overall kind of a different vibe. It has the textures, it smells a certain way. I don't want to say that it smells bad, but it has a particular smell. Same goes for canvas and also for wood. When you enter the room that it has wooden floors, you can feel the wood being present. And it's, you know, in these modern houses and flats and apartments that we have, it's really difficult to get that. But trust me, when you enter the studio of a painter, and he was cutting a new canvas that was, you know, from that huge roll, he or she they were stretching. That's what I was looking for. They were stretching the new canvas. I can immediately tell that, oh, someone was actually working with fresh linen. You can smell the linen in the room. It's really powerful smell for me, and it always brings a good memories of being in the studio. So I feel that you have to pair it with also a rich, nice wood that kind of complements nicely that painting. I'm not saying that you can't have it in the regular one, but you can see immediately the difference. Suddenly the painting has its place, and it has its presence on the wall, even as small as this one. And because it is this small, the big frame actually makes it, I don't want to say tougher, but a little bit more eye-catching. So that's an idea behind that. Why I experienced with this. This is not the first time, and then you can see it when you go to museums. Very rarely, even the small paintings have a thin frames, because they want you to come to that painting. They want you to. It is, and I'm talking about not a modern art. I'm talking about the ones that you know that I like the most, and that's from Renaissance up to Impressionism, including Impressionism. So that would be about the frames. Another important thing, and that's actually why I started with this conversation. Only if my camera is going to work with me. Another important thing is that you might have incredible craftsmen when it comes to creating these nice, crisp, beautiful edges. And look at these; these are like really, really good. I like them a lot, and they really took time probably to, or they have a preset, of course, right now. But you know, someone who uses actual, like a handsaw and not like a machine, it's not as easy to do this. And I think it's, like I said, it's a craft on its own. And these folks that used to do frames, and they're doing them right now. When you have also the ornaments around, these are masters on its own in its own respect. A problem with this is, though, that I have, and I can show you it with perhaps this one. It's going to be a little bit better shown here. Is that they do not know your intentions with the painting. They don't know. They don't know. They might not be aware of your composition. And if they are not aware of the composition, and you have because these bed painting Fridays, most of the times, you know, they are like a scrap materials I showed you that I use, like loose pieces of paper, not even the canvas that was treated, right? So this kind of, so let me just move this on the side and let's analyze this a little bit. Because this is a part of a bed painting Friday, believe it or not, because it's something that I would call a bed setup for camera. Come on. Can you be nice? Can you play with us? So when you look at this, and I'll get it closer, so this edge, it's not straight, right? It has all these waves and so on and so forth. And when I did these bed painting Fridays, I simply grabbed a piece of paper and I approximated that size to roughly 20 by 15, but I didn't go precision mode. The problem is, and you like the controller? Okay, that's awesome. The controller kind of fits. It's weird seeing a controller in a old school frame. And it's just, I think that when they were putting it into a frame, they were like, what is this dude doing? Like, what's the meaning of this? So what I want to show you though, for those of you who watched this video and you saw this video or paint alongside with me, that would be even better. You remember I was talking about this part right here, and maybe I should take a light brush because that would be a better, or some different, thinner pointy stick. So, oops. So you remember I was obsessing about the corner right here and how to make it smooth and the transition and do this and that in order to make it work, and how important it is for a composition. Do you see what they did in the frame shop? They had no idea. The only thing that they were thinking about, oh, we have to fit it here. This is one of the biggest problems, because these are just throwaway paintings, because these are bed painting Fridays, and the idea is that we're going to experiment, we're just going to throw them away. I was not even thinking about making the exact adjustments and everything. So when it came to frame shop, I told them, of course you can, cut them a little bit, because they're like some of our unframed, the ones that didn't make the cut. And I don't want to say that didn't make the cut. It's Christmas, and in the frame shop they have a lot of work, and they're like, dude, you can't just bring 15 small paintings and these canvases. So here is the issue that you have to, if you are making even the bed painting Fridays, and let's make this a practice from now on, is that you see the problem that's happening right here, that this from here to here, this distance of the corner, it's different than this distance, and different than this distance, and it's different than this distance, right? So when they're trying to frame it and they'll just put it right there, they're going to see the edges in some areas. And because we were testing the different frames, different sizes, so on and so forth, and I spent a couple hours there, and then in the end I asked them that they asked me, like, can we then cut a little bit into this? I was like, yeah, I guess you can. There's not a big deal. It's a paper, just be careful, because it's a paper, it's an oil and paper. Don't bend them and don't press on them and so on and so forth. And I didn't realize that they're not going to cut them the way the composition is going to work. They're going to cut them the way that it fits into a frame, because that's what their job is. And that's a problem, because we were working on that edge right here. And right now the edge, it's touching the frame exactly in a tangent, and it's destroying a composition for me. It's destroying that overall viewing experience that we were crafting so meticulously for the viewer. And it destroys you to see this. Not because it's such a big problem. I don't think that anybody would ever even understand this. Not anybody. I don't think that just a regular viewer is going to be like annoyed by this. But you remember what I told you, that I would rather have a really bad painting than meh painting or mediocre painting. And this doesn't even belong to any of these categories. This belongs to category of me not being a professional, right? Bad Painting Friday, it's about experiments, about having fun, about just throwing pigments around, using scrap materials, but it does not necessarily prevent you from being professional painter, right? And being a professional painter and being, I don't want to say, because that's not what's happening, that's not what I'm not perfectionist. This has nothing to do with perfectionism. This has everything to do with delivering the best viewing experience for a viewer, because you labored so much on that. And we kind of take this as like a no-brainer, but then it's a, oh, you're completely okay. Don't worry about it. You can be. I know that you have a lot of other stuff to do. So don't be alarmed by this by any means. You don't need to be talking specifically. This is more like a maybe something to keep in mind, especially about these things. And it's more about putting all these pieces of puzzle together in the way that it's going to really have that impact on the viewer, and it's going to be really happy by seeing these pictures, how they were meant to be. And it's very, I don't want to say that I'm annoyed, I am dissatisfied with me not paying attention to this, because I don't know, because I was thinking about something else, or I was tired of just being there for hours in that framing shop, and I started to feel like they want me to leave, because I was going back and forth with the frames, and I was just thinking, and then I was picturing all the combinations and what should I do and how it's going to look. I asked them if I can buy these, not necessarily pre-made frames, but if I can buy these examples that they have there, just to take them home, so I can look at it in different lighting, because it was under the artificial light, and it's, like I said, it's not about being a perfectionist. It's about being able to deliver the best viewing experience possible, which is so important for me. So that's why I decided to start with preparing a canvas, or a canvas, or a board, or a paper, or whatever medium you have for framing, right? So before we start to paint today, I'm going to set it up properly, so when I go to a frame shop, there will be no issues like this. So I have to think about, in terms of like a graphic designers, perhaps they would call it like bleeding edges. I think that would be like a graphic designers use this a lot. And I have an even bigger problem with other painting, which I'm not happy. And this is still in the original packaging, because here I am completely dissatisfied with the result. Let me just maybe unpack that. So, and I'm dissatisfied not because the framing is bad. I'm dissatisfied because I haven't thought of this at all when I went there. And look at this. This is extremely annoying because right now this is completely screwed composition, not only because they cut it the way so it fits into frame. They did not even take they didn't take into consideration the problem why should they? Yeah, right. That's not their job. That's my job, right? It's my job. I'm the one who's creating these things. It says a lot if you haven't unpacked. It's just because when I saw it immediately in the second I saw it, and this is what I want to talk about. I should have choose a different frame for this one compositionally, because right now it's casting a shadow and it's always going to cast shadow there. So it created a tangent right into area of interest. And also they cut a lot from the top, so they push it higher, right? So they even closer, they put it even closer. So with the controller, it's annoying, but it's not as bad because this is a focal point, right? Right here, the whole controller. Here I have this small little cup, that was a center point. Who cares about this? It's just something that leads your eye to here. And it's destroyed, it's damaged. I can't really use it. Well, I will, because that's a wall of shame is ready. And I have to see this, I have to remind this to myself. And I hope that you can see the shadow, how it's really hitting exactly the edge. That's a tangent that you don't want to have. That's a tangent that you don't want to have. So this one is mine for myself. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm sharing this with you to show you that, you know, you might be, I've been painting really for 12, almost 15 years, and look at this. Like, how can I make these mistakes? It's that I think that this is a little something that it's going to give you an edge over the other painters. If you're a professional painter, you have to take these things into consideration. Things would be completely different or less problematic if I would choose frame like this, right? It is edge, but it's not as significant as on the other one. And also, I should have thought of these edges and I should tell them, no, I am going to cut them myself, and I'm going to show you I'm going to give you the, what's the name of that? These are it's not cutting lines, how do we call them? It's a crop marks. I couldn't get it out of my, couldn't find it. It's crop marks, right? So you have to be ready for crop marks. And interestingly, I have it on my larger painting, like on all of them, they are there. I'm accounting for like a centimeter from every side, because I know that that's a problem. It happens to me multiple times. For some reason, for these bad painting Fridays, even though, like I said, these are throwaways, but it starts with throwaways. If you are not, you remember I was talking about that I cannot just do something halfway only because it's a commission. You either work 100% or you don't. That's my mind setup. I don't really distinguish commission, my personal work, I don't know, graphic design or 3D modeling or 3D visualization. I don't really, that doesn't, no. It's the same thing in terms of creativity. I can't really, you know, dial it up and down or switch it to, I don't know, like a 10% or 15%, only because they're paying me less than I want to. So, and it starts with your own work. So let's look at this. Let's move this out of the way, and let's do a little. Let's take out your rulers, calculators, for those of you who prefer mathematical equations, and so on and so forth. And let's cut into this paper so we have a nice, nice kind of a canvas ready to work on, so we are not afraid of these problems with a, what am I trying to say? With framing. Because I'm just trying to find my, my rulers, because I was making some other stuff. Okay, there it is, I got it. So I'm going to work again, what is it, 15 by 20, that's just the standard size. And this is no brainer for anybody, so it shouldn't be that difficult, and maybe I shouldn't even work on this. But just to make sure, and it doesn't, at this first line it doesn't really matter, but the other lines are going to matter. So I use always a two rulers for this when it's a small size. Where's my second ruler? Or I think that they're called what, triangle or square edge. I don't remember the name of this specific type of a ruler. Well, I swear to you that I had it all prepared here. Where did it go? Can you believe this? Like, these little gnomes are here again, and they misplaced my ruler. What's going on? Why are you guys doing this? No, I found it. Maybe it was my fault because I put paintings on top of it. So let's look at this. I have a 15 by 20, and 50 by 20, it's, I'm talking about centimeters, right? So I'm just going to choose the first line, and just to prove you that first line, it doesn't really matter how big it's going to, like which way it's going to be, because I'm going to measure everything based on the first line, and it also doesn't matter if it's a horizontal or vertical. So I'm just going to place the first line, and I'm not doing this edge because I know that this edge is crooked. I'm just going to do, well, let's say right here, and I'm eyeballing this first line. So. And I'm going to do it really thick, just so you can see it. I wouldn't do it this thick when it comes to my my painting, because it's not really that necessary, right? So I have this, and right now, what I want to do, I want to find those. So I'm doing 20 by 15, right? I have an option here. I could do 20 by 15 and take into a consideration to make it slightly smaller inside. That's one way to do it. Or you can go let's say 20 by 15 and then add a little bit more to it. So it doesn't really matter which way you want to go. So I'm just going to measure 20 because it's easier for me with this specific ruler that I have. So it's then from one side and then from another side right here. And right now, if you have a ruler like this, and that's why I prefer to use these technical rulers, they have a verticals and horizontals align under a 90 degrees, right? You can see these little lines right here. me just bring it closer to you, right? You see these lines, so these are very useful. So I can either align it this way, and if you don't have it and you have a regular triangle like this, that's why I like to use two. It's the thing is that I'm just going to align one ruler to the line exactly that I want, right? And then I can move it and I can make, I can make verticals this way, right? This is always going to be vertical because I'm keeping that, always going to be horizontal or parallel to each other rather, right? Because I can move it back and forth. That will be one way. Or you can use, this one also includes it's not compass, how do we call this? The one that I forgot this. The one that we use for angles, for degrees when we talk about angles. It's not compass. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's this thing. But for now, I'm going to use, because I'm just used to use this guy, I'm going to extend this, make it really nice. Like so, extend it. And then I'm going to find 15 right here. So it's 5 plus 10, 15. It's 5 plus 10. I'm saying it because I have a 0 in the middle. It doesn't go 1 to whatever. I have 0 in the middle. So I have a 5 from here plus 10 right here. So this would be my... And like I said, right now I have two options. I can either do, if you don't have it, you can either go and do it this way, right? Again, to make it. And I know this sounds stupid, me to explaining this to you, because it's no brainer. You would be surprised how many young people don't know about this. That includes me as well. You know, I learned it in the school, but so that would be one way. For me, this one is the preferable method because I'm always trying to keep the right angle as correct as possible. And you can also do measurements, which you have you start with 0 and you go up to your desired length. But I saw people doing this and they are trying to measure it, and it's like I need a, I don't know, like a 10 centimeters. So they put they do it here, but this is a 10 centimeters. That what you were doing, what that imaginary person was doing was 10 centimeters in a diagonal. I know this is annoying for me to telling you this, but trust me. There is really plenty of people young people especially, that they are not really aware of these things, unfortunately. So that's what I'm trying to remind you to. And the reason, like I said, the only reason why I'm doing this this way, this thick, so you can see it on the camera. I would make a thin line because the thicker the lines you're making, more difficult it is to, are you measuring from inside of that line or outside of the line? And I know on the small scale it doesn't really matter, but if you want to be precise and you're doing, let's say, perspective or some geometry, and you're trying to make sure, let's say that let's say that your patron or a company asks you to do a 3-point perspective, and they want a visualization of stairs in a 3-point perspective, and the stairs, they have to have the size, I don't know, or width 2 meters as they recede into the background. I know that the computers are doing it these days, but understanding how to build it. I'm sorry, I'm drinking my tea. mid-sentence. Understanding how to build these is it's bread and butter for architects. And these days you don't see it anymore, but in like really good schools, or like a like a top top architects, they all are aware of this and they know this and how to do it. So, but you don't have to. And right now you can do diagonals if you want to. If you want to make your let's say a little grid for yourself when it comes to, for instance, you want to do a you don't want to deal necessarily with a like you're working from life and you struggle with understanding of you struggle with like a, how would I put this? If you do site size, this is something that they do for site sizing. That's what I was trying to say, right? So you can make a grid, but this is also beneficial. Like I said, this is I use this more for perspective than for anything else. So I'm just or if I want to divide things into thirds, right? So you can find like a professional videos how to divide things into thirds. So I'm not going to go into that that much, but basically it is you find yourself diagonal, then you find yourself a center point of that, whether it's a horizontal or vertical. You have an exact middle right here, and if you connect a corner with the middle with the line, you're gonna find a intersection, and that intersection will divide this rectangle into 1/3. So, and if you do it from the other side, right, you're gonna find it on the other diagonal. And if you connect these two corners, these two intersections, I'm sorry, you should get a line that is parallel with this one, with center one with this one, right? So that's a basic geometry, that's basic mathematics. I don't want to get into this because most of you probably already fell asleep or switched to a different channel that has more interest into it. But there's going to be a time that they're gonna use that you will have to use this, and you're gonna Google it. So it's just something that I do all the time. And if you paint a lot or you work a lot, something like this. This is going to happen to be your vision. You're going to look at things this way. So when you do adjustments, when you count, when you measure, this is how you're going to look at things. So for me, this is a second nature. And if you've never done that, I would highly recommend you to do so. Another good thing is with these diagonals is that diagonal always scale everything in proportionally, right? So right now, if I decided to make it a little smaller, I'm going to do the adjustments for that kind of a bleeding edge, let's say. I can right now scale it and make it smaller. And what I'm doing, I'm looking at the intersection of this new line with the intersection of a diagonal, for those of you who so I scaled this proportionally. So that's something that you do in your when you do this in your software, digital software. When you use, I mostly use these days a Photoshop. So if you hold Shift and you're scaling your objects, you're scaling them proportionally. So this is what this is basically what that is. Okay, and right now, and the reason why I scaled it, so these are going to be my corners or edges. I'm sorry. So I can tape it, make it nice. Oops, wrong tape. Does this happen to you sometimes, that you purchase the tape that it's slightly damaged or was cut, and then you can't really do anything with it because it's always going to create a complication, like this one is doing to me right now. Doesn't really matter because it's going to be on this side. I don't know if I made a mistake or they just... Cool. So this would be my my preparation, and that's, you know, sometimes that's why you come to studio earlier, because you have to do all these things and it takes time. So if you think that you can come to studio 5 minutes before you know, you want to start to paint, you might be surprised. How much time do you have to spend to prepare your stuff? But since this is a Bad Painting Friday, I wanted to show you, and this is not my usual setup, so well, usual setup, I mean that this is not something that, this is not a place where I usually do these things, so please take that into consideration. And other thing is, you might ask yourself, like, why didn't you cut it before and you know, make it exactly the same? Well, that's a good question. And the reason is because I like to give myself a benefit of doubt when it comes to composition. There might be problems with my composition. I might want to change it. I might want to extend it. I might want to make it a little bit bigger, and so on and so forth. That's why I never cut it to precise measurement before I even start, because I really don't know what's going to happen. And I made that. I made this kind of mistake multiple times, and it's not fun. Trying to, especially with canvases or boards, if you have like a wooden board and you cut it precise to measurements that you want it to, and then you find out that it's not actually working the way that you want it to, that you intended, that's extremely, extremely annoying. and you will have a really hard time then to put it together, or sewing your canvas because you need to extend it. These are the worst thing that can happen to you. So yeah, so this would be like a little a small setup. So I can put so I can work with my bed painting Friday. So like I said, even though it's a bed painting Friday, and maybe I can switch this camera so you can see what I'm doing here. I will move this right here in case that we're going to be working with something that I want to show you. You're going to have some questions, perhaps, maybe. So yeah, it's going to be there. So I have this all set, and right now it's the time when I can start painting. Let me just move this up here. So this was a little different today when it comes to that bed painting Friday, but trust me, really, this is going to save you a lot of headaches. And you saw how much I was unhappy seeing this happening with something that I don't want to say that I don't care. I care about every painting that I do, and it's not end of the world, because, like I said, it's something that it's not for a commission. It's not like a large multi-figure composition for patron that costs a lot of time and money to produce. It's just something that we've been working on for fun, so I'm not really concerned that much about that. So let's see what we have here. Let me just move around, prepare my things. And I don't know, should I well, maybe. I'm just thinking right now that am I going to do that thing with am I going to shuffle my pigments, or are we going to go straight into a painting? It's just having fun. Let's just go into a painting. We did a or maybe I can, I don't know. Up to me. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to? I'm fine with it. I'm just yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just throw them randomly all over the place. Okay, so you already working on it. Okay, all right, that's awesome. You already have situation going on with your stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Dig it. Okay, let me just do adjustments right here, so it doesn't move back and forth. You can still see it, hopefully. Okay. All right. As this is probably the worst part when it comes to doing this. I ended up accidentally squeezing cobalt blue instead of ultramarine, so I rolled with limited color palette again today, burnt sienna and cobalt blue with white for winter snowy scene. Couldn't find a nice mix bulb reference to use. That's awesome. That's awesome. You just, you're gonna do. You think that, is it? I don't use cobalt blue. I don't even know how expensive they are. Are they expensive pigments? The only time when I use cobalt blue is when I go paint outside. And that's not very often. So I think that my tube of cobalt blue is just going, it's lasting forever. I usually, in school we had like these, like we received bags, not bags, boxes of pigment for a project in fifth year. And the funny thing is that there's like a set of pigments, and there's a bunch of pigments that I've never seen, never used, never tested. So I always give these pigments away. So I don't really know how it mixes. It's supposed to be a true blue. Could you be more? I know that you are painting. I don't want you to just typing right now. It's expensive as cadmium, and it's weak, thinner type. Okay, it's supposed to be true blue. That was my actually question. What do you mean by true blue? How do you define true blue based on what? I don't think I follow that. Or as the cool kids today say, I don't think I subscribe to this. I don't know. It's a joke. I don't know. I don't think I should joke today because it's just something's gonna. I'm gonna do something unexpected, something that's not supposed to be happening with these jokes. Oh, my head's going to be in the frame. So I apologize. I'm just trying to put my things a little bit better around me. I hope that you can see palette and everything all right now. You mean, oh, okay. So it's the fact that it's in between on the color wheel. It's in between ultramarine and cerulean, right? That's how I picture it when you said right now the explanation. Cobalt blue is neither. Well, let's say you're not maybe missing out too much with the cobalt blue. It has its benefits, but not the critical pigment to have. Like I said, I use it outside for sky. It's just a nice sky color. So let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze cobalt blue. So I have a cobalt blue hue, I have a cobalt blue medium, and I have what else do I have? This is gonna sound so funny, but do you know, I really think that this is, I'm not making this, you can't script this. I'm afraid that this is what I did. Check this out. I think that I supported this little setup with a cobalt blue pigment. There it is. I'm not lying to you. That's how much. That's the worth of a cobalt blue for me. I'm so sorry. This is just not scripted. This is so dumb. This is a bad painting Friday as its best. Ta-da! There you go. That's a Christmas spirit. This is what I use cobalt blue for. Oh my God, this is you can't make this up, really. See, this is what I would consider a professional streamer. Finally, I thought of everything. Oh, this made me laugh so much. Oh wow, this is perfect. This is perfect. These streams are awesome. I can't really. Oh, oh, this is gonna be fun. So let's squeeze them out. So which one should I use? Should I use cobalt deep blue, cobalt blue medium, or should I go with a cobalt blue hue, which is going to be the weakest one? And these are all three different brands. Let me just, I have to stand up because I think I can't read this chat. That's awesome. Me accidentally squeezing out cobalt blue and you had it hold up, you're still alive. Yeah, it's so funny. Yours is Winsor Newton, right? Okay. I don't have, I literally at this, right now in my, I don't think I have 0 Winsor Newton pigments here. Let me see if I, like a secret, super secret stash. If I have a Winsor Newton somewhere here. I don't even think that I have this brand right now in my pigments. I have everything from starting from gambling, going through a special Japanese brands, all the way to a Nevska Palitra natural pigments. I also have some very old pigments. Holbeins, I don't know. So let me use just a. I don't. Does it matter that much? Actually, I don't think so. Right. So let's do that. Let's do one that it's from the brands that I used to use. Okay. So where should I squeeze it? Let me just squeeze it right here. Let me just squeeze it right here. So this is going to be my cobalt blue. I don't know what I'm going to paint with it, but let's do it. So what else should I use? What other weird pigment should I use? Let's try Naples yellow, since I don't use it that much. Let's do like a limited palette, random limited palette. Do I have a Naples yellow somewhere here? Should have. Okay, I have Naples yellow. So we have a cobalt. Cobalt blue is going to be our blue. Naples yellow is going to be instead of our ochre, let's say. So let's put it right here. So that's our yellow. We need the red. What am I going to use? Alizarin? Are we going to do alizarin for red? Oh, let's do alizarin. Oops. Let's do alizarin. Yeah, I haven't used Naples yellow that much. I don't really know how it's going to work. So let's just do alizarin crimson right here as my red. And what else do we need? And white. Can I use white? I guess I can. I don't see any other option though, so I'm going to. Yeah, I'm not going to use zinc white. I'm just going to go with titanium. That would be too much. That's not. I'm not ready for that. Maybe like a green. Maybe we could do like a green, like a really weird green. Do I have some weird greens here? Okay, let's find a weird green. What could be a weird green? Could it be like a... So you said that you're using cobalt blue. Can we use a cobalt green? That might be fun. What would you say, cobalt green? Let's try cobalt green, if I have it. I do. So let's do cobalt green. Just to have like fun. I don't know, maybe we can find some way to. And can I use black or no? You didn't even know this is a cobalt green? Yeah, it is, it is. And I think that you can get cobalt green light and deep or medium. What other weird pigments do I have here in this box of weird? You can actually get a cobalt violet if I'm not mistaken. Well, why would I? Okay, so since we are using weird colors, so this is the cobalt violet. So let's go with that one. So you have a full okay, so we have a cobalt palette today. All right, let me see if I have some other cobalt. What other cobalts do I have? I don't think I have any other cobalt. Yeah, I only have CADs. And cadmiums, I mean. And this is, that one is, I think it's a cobalt purple. I'm sorry, cobalt violet light. Yeah, I'm feeling cobalt. You are feeling cobalt, you said it. So we're gonna do a disconnected, disharmonized palette on top of a disharmonized color. So let's do a disharmonized composition. So it's going to be, we're officially full-on modern painters. Let's go. I'm excited. So for those of you who are joining us just right now, this is a Bad Painting Friday Cobalt edition. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. You guys are all up for a bumpy ride. So let's see. Let us see. And am I going to do? I need gloves. And the white one, and then I'm ready to paint. I'm all over the place. My apologies. I could actually scoop the white from the palette. Let's do that. I have a little bit white left there. Okay. I don't think these are a proper pigments for the. This is crazy. I don't think these are a proper pigments when it comes to a. When it comes to this setup, but let's use a couple of these. Let's use fan brushes. Okay, let's go full on crazy mode. Let's do fan brushes. Let's do fan brushes, and let's just get some weird ones that I have here. Let's take this one. Let's grab this guy. Maybe it's gonna be fun. I don't know. Do we need some soft brush? Do we have some soft brushes? Maybe not. Maybe a little bit. You're curious how is it going to turn out? Well, okay, all right. So the only problem that I'm going to have is that I don't have black, and I love black. So that's going to be an issue for me, I think. And when I say issue, I don't mean it's like a super big problem, but I see some dark areas right here. So we have to figure it out because I can't go full dark mode, right? I can't go desaturated dark mode, which is a good thing, a bad thing, I don't know. So, yep, this. And I'm thinking, and again, just a quick disclaimer about this, I'm looking under a slightly different angle than the camera, so you might see it from a different angle. So If you feel like I'm painting something that you don't see, it's because I am a little bit, excuse me, a little bit on the right from a camera. So I'm on the right side. I'm right here. Ta-da! That was my hand. Let me go get a tea. I'll be right back. Just a second. I'll be right back. And then we start painting. What is this? I'm sorry, just a second. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm back. I have a warm tea with me. weird colors on the palette. They are all in the wrong positions. So yeah, this is gonna be, I don't know if I'm gonna call this fun, but I'm gonna make it fun together with you. So remember, this is a bad painting Friday. So I put myself into this position willingly. So there is no one's forcing me to do this. I'm doing this to see and find limitations of my pigments. And with the limitations of my pigments, I not only want to see if I can paint with them, but I also want to see, well, not see, I have to take into consideration certain adjustments that I have to do when it comes to, especially when it comes to values, because I don't think I can make proper value range when it comes to some of the darks that I see right here around this area. Only because, well, I can mix. Well, let's think about this. I have to approach this problem a little bit more like scientifically, I guess. And when I say scientifically, I don't mean that I'm just going to drop a lot of science on you right now, because you know, because I already dropped a lot of architectural stuff. So I think it would be too much. I don't think you would appreciate that, but I think that we could definitely make something out of this, something cool. First, I'm going to, well, I have to, not that I'm going to, I have to think about a composition as always, and I just threw a couple things on that stand right there a little bit, and it's just used paper bag from a tea that I got, and a teacup, because these are things that are laying around probably in every household, and that, you know, it doesn't need it. You know, I'm pretty sure that every one of you have a whatever cup that you like, and whatever other object. In my case, like you said, it's a paper bag. And let me do a, well, I'm looking at this particular painting, and I am analyzing it because I don't even know where to start when it comes to these pigments. You know, usually, and this is good because usually I would just grab into my, you know, reds or oranges or whatever I have, a little bit of black, and I would just, you know, and off we go. Well, I don't have it right now, so perhaps I'm going to work with a mixture of. Let me try this. Let's do into purple and the cobalt to make it like really purple, and then maybe a dark purple. Wow. Okay, well, this ain't gonna work. Wow, okay. Well, at least I'm very close to a cloth color, if anything. Your palette confuses you? Oh, what do you think is happening to me right now? Okay, so I mixed something that remotely No, not even, not even that. I mixed something that I cannot identify that color. But I'm really starting to regret this a little bit. But it's okay. I am trying to find the darkest area. I think the darkest areas are underneath, like somewhere here where the, you know, where the base of the, let's just compose it first. Let me do this. The Naples yellow is really strong. I didn't expect, or maybe these pigments are weak. So I'm just gonna go like really dark purple. So this is the darkest that I can go. And the problem is that the moment, like right now it looks dark, but the moment that you believe in me, well, okay, all right. I might disappoint you today. Let me just maybe put it somewhere here, that little rascal, as our favorite painter would say. Well, that was another mistake that I made. It. Okay, so all right, I think it could be here. So this is that would be or there would be a midpoint. It would be somewhere here. Then I have this right here. Why have I know where I made the mistake. I made myself a bleeding edge and then I taped it. Am I crazy? All right, okay, never mind. All right. And maybe this could go like a little bit more outside right here. And let's just push this, oops. Like somewhere here, perhaps, maybe. Let's go this way, and we can do shadow. It could be shadow right here, and the shadow here. And shadow here. So what I'm doing right now, I'm not thinking about the color. Or let me be a little bit more specific. I'm not thinking about hue. I am trying to, well, not trying to, I have to think about value. And this is my darkest value that I can mix. It's that mixture of cobalt and cobalt blue and alizarin crimson, which is really transparent, and it's going to be a little bit more challenging to create like a dark shadows, but we're gonna manage. Don't worry about it, we're gonna manage. Oh, so you should better. I'm just gonna read your comment. I only have 45 minutes left, and I'm not done with my painting. So you better hurry. So let me see. Let me do this. Let me think about values for a second, and let me think about values in terms of composition. So I have this right here. So this could go this way, and I'm going to be very loose right now because So it's 1:30 p.m. My local time. So let me give. I'm going to do 2 hours max on this. So we'll just do something that we talked about. So this is a shadow. That's a shadow. Here I need to have a shadow. This is a shadow right here. There's going to be a light corner. I kind of like that, which is a shadow as well, but it's not, you know, shadow in that perfect sense. And this is going this way, and there is a little sliver right here of light, and what's the angle? It's going up here like so, down here, and Okay, so this is my composition. Not the best I've ever done, but could be worse. Let me do a little adjustment here. And I'm going to adjust this, you know, while I'll paint. So there's going to be a light area. Maybe I should push this a little lower. And it gives me a little bit more of an opening because I think it's too close of an ellipse. So I want it to go a little bit more towards me. And this, I can wipe a little bit. And I have this right here, and it kind of enters here. I see a little bit, I don't know, you see probably more, but I see just a little bit. And this is something that, like I said, don't really, I don't want to say copy or don't be alarmed by the fact that, and there is a little, I kind of like this little crease right here that I accidentally made. So maybe we'll include that crease because that's going to give us a little bit more of a kind of a, and it goes more like so right here. Okay. Not bad. All right, so we have this. And this needs to be in the shadow, of course. Right? This needs to be in the shadow. There's the opening for that cap. And you might see it way smaller. I see it bigger because I'm little higher than a camera is. So maybe, like, you know, my eye level is right now somewhere around this area right here on the top. Right, that's where my eye level is. So I'm looking slightly from the above. Not much, but a little bit more than you see probably. Well, let's see. Will give me this, maybe a tiny fraction bigger. Let's make him a little bigger, a little fella. Bob Ross, that's the name what I was looking for. So this is where I am right now. The question is, for me, it's exactly what I was talking about when it comes to a composition. That if I erase this right here, do I like it this way or I like the corner there? Well, since I taped it and I made the mistake, let's just get rid of this and let's think about composition being just cut right there. Well, maybe. Well, let's see. And also, I forgot to put a shadow right here. So there's like a little thing right here. It goes a little bit out and then goes up, and there is a shadow behind that right here. Or underneath rather, not behind, underneath. So that's where it is. All right, cool. This is my composition. Any thoughts on this? Okay. Tea is really good. It's amazing to you know, paint a beautiful tea setup and having a tea chilling. The only thing that bothers me, it's the palette. But you know, I'm all in on this palette. Okay, let's go. Let's think about this. Well, and the reason why I have a problem with this is right now because this is really dark area right here. It's being reflected a little bit from the floor from the bottom. This is kind of a, I have a little bit of like the edge right there. I want to include that edge. And I should probably include this edge right behind here, which is really bad when it comes to composition because it's almost halfway through. So this is annoying compositionally. Never mind. So this is the problems that I see here. Ideally, when I would work with my regular palette, I have blue and I have yellow, right? this blue is a saturated blue for me, and maybe I would push this little, not necessarily saturated. This would be a little bit more saturated, and this would be perhaps desaturated. Just thinking about it, or the other way around. Or maybe I could do both of them saturated. The background is desaturated. Foreground, I see foreground as a extremely blue. I don't know about you, I see it extremely blue. My point is that if I cannot use the actual local color that I see, I have to think about how to organize these pigments that I have here so it's going to make sense visually. I could just regard the color that I see and just go strictly with value, but what I want to do is to hit value and color with these pigments that I have here that does not really belong to that. So let me see. So let's start with a let's ask a question. What pigment or what value would be this, the large area? And when I squint my eyes, this big pocket or paper bag rather blends together with this. So what I see actually when I'm looking at that, when I look at it, and it also bleeds almost into it almost bleeds into this, right? So I have this and this all connected, right? Remember, this might be a little bit, I might change the angle here. Never mind. So I'm just gonna unite this together in one value. I'm gonna vary a hue. So this is going to be yellow. This is going to be desaturated, neutral, bluish, yellowish, and this is going to be full on blue. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's try this guy right here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, so this is going to be a local color right here. We're going to work on it a little bit more. I just wanted to see what's going to happen with this. Well, let's vary it a little bit with this, and I want to make it a little darker, a little less saturated. So I'm going with the green, hitting it the other way with this is too much. Desaturating it, making it a little bit more yellow and darker. So I made a darker value, less saturated for the areas that I look, and this is where I'm looking at right now. So there will be this area right here. So instead of going into shadows, I just want to establish a little bit of maybe I could just put this one right here, and it's going to work a little bit as a cast shadow that I have from that cup right there, maybe. And then I could also do it as I could use it as a little that crease that I see right there, the little crease that goes from there, right? And then I don't have another brush. Okay, so let's use this guy. So this is okay. So let me go with this, with blue, and let me go with green. So I'm going to find that blue, green, and I know this is not the right color. I need more white. So this is slightly greener. Let's get into yellow. Desaturate it a little bit. What's happening with my palette? Why is it not cooperating? So what will be the value? It's almost, I see it almost like a gray, like a little green gray, a little darker. Maybe. Okay, let's go with this as a starter. So I'm just going to lay down this pigment right here. So I start with something because I can't really, I have no idea what how these colors are going to work together. That's what I'm trying to say. So. And I know for those of you who just jump into stream and you guys don't know what's happening, I don't know what's happening myself. So this is just a nice disclaimer. Maybe a little bit right here with this. Let me also mix this lighter variation of the and more saturated one. To put it right here. Right, like so. Remember happy accidents. Yeah, I have to remember happy accidents. Well, it's difficult to create happy accidents when you put yourself into a position of craziness. So I need like a little more, like a kind of like an orange. So this is going to be my orange. Let me get a little bit more blue to desaturate it a little bit. Yeah, we can work with this. Maybe a little more green. Okay, because I see like a little. Yeah. Whoa, we're almost. So that would be like these darks right here. Yeah. And you can see it's not as dark as it right there, but I can't, there's no way I will be able to get that dark with these pigments. These are really weak pigments. Embrace the craziness. Well, yeah, there's no other way. It's just a crazy way. Let's do that. You remember I talked about like Colin McRae, so I'm going to do, when in doubt, flat out, right? So I'm just going to go for it. So there would be a little shadow right here, maybe to showing that kind of a packaging. And also, maybe I should hit it with that. Let's see if I take this, a little bit of this, and then a lot of this. Because what I need a little darker body paint that it's not that transparent. But if I have to use a lot of alizarin crimson, it's always going to be, it's not, it can, okay, let's hit it. All right. Okay. Let's see. And then quiet, but this is just, I don't want to call this a craziness, but it's not really, it's not that much fun when it comes to, I mean, it is fun, but it is kind of a weird exercise, to be honest. Okay, maybe somewhere around here. Are we good in this kind of area? Well, what I'm doing right now, to be honest, I'm trying to throw pigments on the canvas. And the reason why I'm trying to throw pigments on the canvas is because I'm trying to find the harmony right now between the colors and values. So I think that when it comes to values, I know I'm quiet because I'm really focusing on what I'm doing. I'm trying to see what's happening here. Okay, so I need to get rid of this. Right here, okay. And it continues into background. So what I did right now, I covered, this is too dark, it needs to go lighter, that's nice. So I have a range here, that's cool. So it's blue, and a little bit of this, more saturated. Let's try that violet. I don't know why I put it there, but I think it's going to work. Yeah, it's going to neutralize that yellow, Naples yellow, hopefully. These are super weak pigments. These are, if you said that they're expensive, if these are so if these are, oof, mistake. Since these are expensive and this weak, I don't know. What I'm thinking about right now, what I would probably do, I'm looking at these pigments and mixtures that I see. You could always, you know, I would have an easier time to do a portrait. With these, because I feel almost like that cobalt. They are weak, so I would use them as like for adjusting temperatures, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm seeing like this is white, and I put a little bit of the Naples yellow into it, and I could do variations with the, you see, like I really have a nice chunk of this, and it's barely moved that. So it's telling me that that pigment is really weak, and if the pigments are this weak, these are beautiful for transitions, right? So I have check this out. I have this, I can do another mixture right here, and you can see that I have the same pigment, but it has a slightly different a temperature and saturation. So they almost blend together. On the camera, they probably look like they are the same pigment, but you would see the differences. So I have to play with this right now, or play off of this rather. I have to take advantage of these subtle shifts. So I threw pigments around like randomly almost, I would say, willy-nilly. And right now I'm going to adjust them. I'm going to ask myself, what's the best, the closest that I get when it comes to these mixtures? I think it's that paper bag. I think that paper bag is kind of all right. A paper bag is kind of all right. That means that I'm going to judge other pigments based on that paper bag. So that's something that has to happen right now. I have a mixture of this here, so I'm going to change this because it's too saturated. So I have a okay. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see it like extremely saturated on the screens because, yeah, you do. Because it's dark here and my camera is trying to adjust for that. All right. So this is, and you remember what I said? I'm going to lean towards the Impressionism. Well, this is where Impressionism shines, or the ideas of Impressionism, because this is what they were doing. They used these beautiful colors, and you know what? Thank you for pushing me to do this, because it's going to be nice addition to what we usually do. And it's a good exercise. And what I'm doing right now is I'm getting rid of things. I'm trying to get rid of texture there because I don't want to have a texture in the background right now because it's reflecting these little, you know, like when I put it this way, it almost seems like it's a different value. I want to use this phenomenon because it's going to be, instead of me putting a different value, I see like a little area right there that is lighter. I'm just going to change the brush stroke and it's going to change the light because of the way how it's hitting. I wouldn't recommend you to do this because it's dumb. Because if you change the light source, it's just going to change it. It's just going to be imperceivable, or it might mess it up with. But the reason why I'm doing it, and I'm going plain with it, is because I really have just enough tools to play right here where the focal point is supposed to be. So this is going to be like a pastel painting, I guess, with pastel-y pigments. Let me mix this together. Let me just connect it so I don't see the proper edge, so it doesn't seem that much out of place here. And then I'm going to push this really saturated. It's going to be the edge right here. Well, not necessarily like really saturated, but really colorful. Oops. It's going to be right here. It's going to be right here. So I'm not exactly the same pigments that I see there. Maybe I could just push it a little bit more greener right here in these areas. Yeah, that could separate it. So I'm pushing this greener. I don't see that much green right here, but I think that I'm closer with the pigment right here, and to separate it, I feel, when I say feel, my eyes are telling me that I should go greener here. And I know that you're looking at this and you're like, dude, it's a blue cap. Well, yeah, it is blue, but I don't have that blue. And another thing is, it's blue compared to what? To surrounding pigments. So, and I'm trying to right now work with pigments I have and mixtures I have, and I could perhaps make this pigment right here look blue, but I wouldn't have value range and pigment and hue range to do this looking a little bit closer. So I'm looking for a compromise between these. And right now this is too much. It's just a kind of a weird. Let's just make like a little pattern right here, because I see like a little patterning there, and I want to mix the colors like in a different way, so they kind of like they have like a weird twists and turns that I cannot control. Oh, how much I love this Bed Painting Friday. I really, it might sound weird, but I'm enjoying this a lot, actually. People won't even believe that this came out of my studio. Dark shadow there. Right, and this combination. It's right here, down right here. So I'm creating that edge. Softening it, because I don't want to have a hard edge there. Well, this is fun. This is going to be a. This is not. This is a painting for your. This is a painting for your friends, that they have a beautiful small cottage in like a southern France. So you would paint this for them. This is what I'm thinking right now. It's cold. It's like the weirdest, like a +1, +2, cold, wet, drizzling kind of a. Sometimes it looks like it's rain. Sometimes it's like a frozen water. It's not snow necessarily. It's like a water that froze halfway through. It didn't crystallize properly, and I'm painting this summer beach painting here, or painting for a for a cottage or a vocational house. That I don't have, but I can, I don't have it, but I can still, paint like I do. So let's do that. Let's prepare ourselves so we can buy these beautiful houses and homes on the south coast of France. Softening it right here, because that's the focal point. Okay, yep. Let me see. I have to stand up and go away from it, but I'm just chilling here with my tea. I need to put a little lighter value there. In the corner, I can see it. I need a nice shiny light saturated value light there. Right here, I don't know if you can see it. Probably you can even more than I do, but I have like a little sliver of that bag on this side, and it kind of creates a nice crisp edge. Maybe I could push it a little bit bigger than I see it. And when you want to push something bigger, I'm just moving my head more towards this side right here. And maybe I can make this a little bit more this way. Yeah, that's better. Well, I have to take this palette sometimes outside and test it out in a outside environment, whether or not this is going to work. Okay, I need more blue here right now. I can afford to do more blue on this side. Because right now, I started with the purple, and the purple does not really work there. So I'm gonna go blue, and I'm just going to offset it with this a little bit more, and blue. So it might get me a better, yep. Better result, yep. And you can see that I'm painting these shadows really thickly. There is no, and most likely this is not a right value, but I can't get the right hue for the right dark value. I've never been able to get that part correct. So I have to play with what I have, and this is all I have. And then we can hit it with a little bit more blue to suggest it right here, right where that edge is, right? So right here. So the transition. And then maybe this darker one, a little bit right here. Maybe I'm overworking it already, but anyway. Softer. Connecting it. And I'm changing the shape of the shadow just a little bit, only because it was too symmetrical. Like these areas right here, they were too symmetrical, and I didn't like that very much. So this will be a little softer. So tonalists would never choose this subject painted this way. They would never do that because, not tonalists. I mean, there is not that much tone that you can play with, especially with this palette, that's for sure. They wouldn't even do this palette. Let's start with that. But since this is a bad painting Friday, I'm having so much fun with this. I want to see what's going to happen. Let's make it a little bluer. A bit of that from and then maybe just a little bit darker value right here. So I'll show that edge a little bit, just a touch. And this needs to go softer. Right here. Let's just incorporate it right into it. Okay, cool. And then I see this area a little darker. Right here. I don't have white. I probably have to get white. To adjust this. Corner there, and then it goes like so, right here. Nice, cool. All right. I have a part right here, part right there. I have to stand up because I'm too close to this, to my own liking. Let's see how it looks from a distance, and what do I have to adjust in order for me to make it work. Okay, okay, I need a little bit more saturation, a little bit more, okay, all right, yeah. I think we can manage. I think we can pull this off in like a weird way, but let me get rid of this because this bothers me right here. It's just, I can't see the composition properly. Okay, it's going to be a lighter value there. It's going to be this, this, and that. Okay, all right. So I threw pigments around. I had fun throwing them around, and right now I need to do adjustments. And I have a couple more minutes to do that, only because the light is going away and it's getting darker. This is not a precise painting yet, but we're gonna make it happen. I'm not gonna allow anybody to stop us. And I hope that you are working alongside with me with these crazy ideas and adjustments, because like I said, I am having a lot of fun when it comes to these experiments. It really forces me to think differently about this. Maybe what I could do is just like this. I don't think this is recommended, but maybe I could do it. Okay. Okay, let's soften this all. Like, okay, I'm making this like an underpainting right now. I'm softening all the edges. And you might think that, oh, what are you doing? Well, I'm having fun. So should you. Oops. Did I dip in the... Beautiful. Now we're cooking. I dipped into a... All right, let's keep it there. I dipped accidentally as I was moving into this and just smudged that weird smudge right there. That's cool. It's working. It has to. Okay, all right. And right now, let's bring it back to focus. So I unified this very quickly because it was too many things happening, too many colors, pigments, and so on and so forth, like flying around. And right now we can refine it a little bit. I have two options. I'm probably going to go darker right here in these areas, but I'm not sure if I'm capable of making it because I need a little bit more contrast. Right now there's no contrast there. Orange, and let's hit it with this green to desaturate it a little bit. Nice. Okay. So this is going to provide me just a little bit of that edge. And I need edge just a little bit right here. I want that edge there. And then I'm gonna go make it lighter with a little bit of this desaturated area right here. And this is going to be a soft. Okay. And I think my drawing is off a little bit. Nice, and we drag the reflected light there, but it might be too much. Okay, and then I'm correcting my drawing right now of the ellipses because they bother me a lot. So this is where I'm right here. Right here. And I'm going to slow down a little bit right now, and I'm going to take I'm going to be a little bit more careful, and I'm going to start thinking about what can I do to improve this. All right. Let's go a little slightly more away from it. What would be the highlight? But when I'm thinking about the value, so it would be somewhere around here. Not the highlight, but the lightest value I see right here, somewhere on that. Okay, so it's right here. And let's push this a little darker. And a little greener. Right here, this transition. And I will push that shadow a little bit that way. correcting these ellipses. And softening it here. And then as it turns away from us, it's getting a little darker right here. Oh, wow, that's way too dark. A little darker, and let's make it a little more purple. So it goes nicely against that yellow edge right there. And I should push this part a little darker. That might be too much. Maybe not, because I can go back again. Yep, and adjust this. All right. Okay, let's work on these ellipses because they bother me the most probably right now. It's a little softer here. Cool. The shape of a cup is right now the issue for me. What if I, well, let's do, what if I do this and this together? Oh, it's just that the alizarin is too strong for the cobalt. Okay, so it's not gonna work. It's not going to work. It's giving me like a weird pigment. Okay, I'm gonna build up to it. I'm sorry, I'm so quiet. Um, I'm rushing through this and it's not really. This could be a really nice dark accent right here. Against that. Maybe I'm obsessing with that symmetry a little too much and it's supposed to be like impressionistic painting, um, but I really like when it's, because I like the shapes of these objects for a reason, because they are kind of a nicely shaped. I don't want to say that they are they're nice, and I want to capture that nice shape. So I'm connecting this again together as a one shape, and I'm seeing that this is not working properly, that I am, yeah, maybe I should cut it more into it. Okay, and then I could go a little darker here on that foreground. What would be the value of the floor? Or somewhere in the middle, like number 5. So I don't have a number 5 necessarily, because it's, I cannot get number 1 when it comes to darkness. So this is just so dark. Maybe I could make it a little. A little more accurate. See, the shape of the cup is not right, and that's what bothers me. get a little edge of that occlusion that it's right there underneath. It is like my painting today. Painting snow is hard like a heck. So I might wipe it and reuse this canvas for later, not sure yet. I'm struggling myself, so don't worry about this. This is why we do these bed painting Fridays. Look at me, I'm all over the place. I don't even know what's happening here. But it's just a part of the assignment, right? To get yourself out of a comfort zone. We talked about this so many times, how incredibly important that is. So if you want to wipe it out, that's okay. If you want to continue working on it, that will be awesome as well. The important part is that, you know, I know it sounds weird, but I am really having fun doing this. I really do. And for multiple reasons. One of them being that this is really something that I don't do. I instinctively wanted to say I don't do this very often, but I don't think I've ever put myself under this type of pressure when it comes to painting. And it's starting to show because I felt confident that I'm going to close it pretty soon. And then I realized that I'm really, really far away and there is plenty of things that I haven't figured out. Good. Yeah. Since it's a dinner time for me, I understand that. You just, you know. You like how my palette looks? See, this is it. This is probably the best the most polite way to say your painting is pretty bad, bro. Step it up. All right, challenge accepted. Yeah, it reminds you of sunrise. Yeah, it reminds me a bed painting Friday on steroids. Not what you meant. Well, I hear what I want to hear. Let's go for this. I need a little highlight right here, so I'm going to prepare for that. So it's going to be a lighter value here. This needs to go. And then I need to make him, the cup, I need more white. Do I have a white somewhere here? Do I have to stand? I have to stand up. No, I have it here. Nice. All right, let's go for it. this is a moment of truth. Let's see. All right. Let's bring the saturation up. That's just what we need. To kick it a little bit more forward with a saturation. Nice. Okay, slowly. I'm thrown off by the pigments, but like I said, and that goes for all of you who are painting alongside with me. I mean, you know, this is, like I said, this is not something that I would choose to paint, or this is not something that I would go and paint myself, to pick up the pigments like this. This is really all just a random accident. It's not even my accident. You are responsible for this. So you have to suffer through this with me right now. There's no other way. The biggest problem for me here is to find the proper color harmony, since I'm not familiar with these pigments. I don't know what they can do. I don't know how to take advantage of their properties, and that's what bothers me the most, probably. I mean, well, it's not only that it bothers me, I think that it's obvious that I'm struggling with this, but that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. It's just, it's part of the fun. That was a little desaturated, so let's hit it with a little bit of purple and just a touch of that. You think that mine is better than yours? Okay, well, I'm waiting for you to post yours on Twitter X or on Blue Sky. It's the one that we talked about recently. And a softer transition right here. So I have the shadow there, nice. And then I'm thinking maybe going, like my highlight could be purple mixed with white, because it's really weak. So it gives just it gives it a kind of a cool transition right here. Highlight, I meant the peak of the form right here. So I can create a volume there. I'm trying to create a volume. Yeah, let's try that. You will email it instead of posting it? Okay, all right. Can you imagine how I feel? I'm doing this. Okay, so I have a little bit of this. A problem is with shadow, but that's okay. We're getting there. I really had to slow down a bit, because I approached that the same way that I would approach any other painting. Even though I talked about that, this is not the same thing. I just went into that mode. And I really have to think about this. It almost feels, these kind of exercises for me feels like I am back in LA at the academy, trying to paint. it's not happening. It takes me back. So it's nice. It's nice. It's just I can feel the tension in the air. How it's just like, what is happening? Why is it not doing what it's supposed to? That's exactly how I feel right now. It's crazy. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's just such a weird feeling. I haven't felt like this very, very long time. It's more towards us. It's more right here. The value, the turn of the form. It's just bulking right towards me. So let's bring that into the equation, the bulkiness of that cut. The shape, I'm sorry, the shape of the cut. So I have this, and then let's bring this. I cannot make a really, really saturated, a bright pigment. This is way too little to saturate this. So I don't know what to do in this situation. I have to figure something out. Let me stand up and look from a distance. I'm afraid that I won't be able to finish this only because it's getting really, really dark. And I am not able to continue because I don't see the pigments correctly. I'm going to be annoyed if I cannot finish this. I need to put my cell phone on charger because it's going to die. It sounds like you nailed Matte Painting Friday if you have that feeling. This is the comment of the year. Yes, you are absolutely right. This is the comment of the year. Mission accomplished. You failed. Finally, you were just at the edge, and somehow you pushed and you did some like crazy brush strokes and something, and it worked in a weird way. Wow, it's a comment of the year, definitely. You send me the image via email. All right. I'm really looking forward to check it out. This is too much right here, but that's okay. Okay, so it needs to go. I see where the problem is. I made that opening probably a little too big. That's why I want to push it. I'm making it bigger and bigger, and the composition doesn't work the way that I want to. So maybe I could push this a little higher here, like maybe here. Yeah. Yep. Let me saturate it a little bit. It's gonna go a little bit more here and here, like so. Like so. And then it goes down here and here. So I'm giving like a little, I know that this is outline, but, you remember what I was talking about, the outlines, that I don't want to color in between outlines, but I am lost here. So I have to help myself a little bit. I'm falling back into that, safe space. So let's just because it's probably because I can barely see the edges. So maybe this could go a little bit more saturated and a little darker. So maybe let me push with this a little darker in some areas, right? Like, so I have a little bit more value range to work with. Right, and it would give me a chance to do a little lighter. Like a little edge right here, okay? I'm trying to create a kind of like a random texture here. And then I want to push this corner right here. So it's just, it's hitting a little bit of light there. Yep, that's gonna help. The only problem that I have with this pigment, I don't have a strong saturated one. That that bugs me a little bit. And the other difficult thing for me to deal with is the fact that I don't have a a heavy dark color to work with that would adjust my that I could use to adjust my mixtures, right? So what I mean is that I am looking at these pigments, and I can't really do anything here in this dark area because I have transparent blue and I don't have anything to make it desaturated and dark. Which is causing me a lot of trouble. But like you said, like you perfectly summed it up that, well, that's a bad painting Friday full circle experience. Why am I doing this? I don't understand. Why am I doing this? What's the meaning behind this? I see a little purple, like a purple tones up there. Well, meaning would be probably put yourself. Like, meaning is obvious, right? But I have to say that I really feel back in the academy. Seriously, this really brought me back, all the memories and all the frustration. So I should probably do this more often, not necessarily because I want to torture myself, but because this is something that I always struggled with when it comes to like other professional painters. They were giving these demos, and it always looked so. Like they had their mixtures figured it out. You know, it's just they reached for the pigments. They were in the right position, the right place. It looked so easy when they were doing it. So giving demos like this, I can relate to some of you who just started to paint with oils, because this is really not the way how I would picture to spend my Friday evenings these days. And it really brought me back that, wait, what? This is everything that you that you used to do not that long ago, actually. So it's really interesting to see and experience this again. It really brought back a lot of memories. Like you are there in the studio, and I would be like, you know, I need to continue painting, so I would turn on the light, and I would be like, oh, it looks so bad. Not even realizing that, dude, you just turn on the light, you change everything. You changed all of the lighting conditions, the reflections, everything is different. And not only that, you change the fact that, you know, the stuff that you're looking at, I turned on the light and the stuff that I saw was different, right? And I was like, how can I be so? And the moment from the movement that I moved from the setup to turn on the light and went back, my eyes rested a bit. So immediately I thought that I'm a loser. How come I haven't seen these mistakes? And I started to repaint everything with panic. Oh, I feel your pain, guys. For those of you who are watching this and you are just starting with, you know, you're starting with oil paint. Wow. This is probably the best bed painting Friday I have ever had. Hands down, the best one. It's true to the, it's really, I'm finally where I'm supposed to be when it comes to bed painting Friday. And I'm enjoying it only because I know that this is not how I paint. And tomorrow everything's gonna be all right. but simultaneously, and I know I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. It's more like a, you know, it's more like the awkward laugh, because back in the day, I would get right back into it tomorrow, the same mistake, the same problems. Oh. So let's think about it a little bit more. Let's cheer up a little bit. This is not the end of the world, one bed painting, right? You like how it looks? Oh man, there is a, let me see. On the screen, the composition is bad, the colors are bad, everything is bad, and you're saying that you like how it looks. It just, you know what? Thank you, I appreciate it, because it's helping me to to continue with this. I want to see what's going to happen here. I really do want to see what's going to happen. I don't think that having painting this bad, it's the end of the world, but I understand how difficult it has to be, looking back when I used to paint in the academy, because this was exactly what was happening every day to me. Like, I would paint like this, I would struggle for a half day, and then I wouldn't even have a time to be angry because I had to go and do and work. So if you struggle, it's part of the game, and I'm feeling okay right now, but trust me, it's because, and I should do this. I'm gonna post, and this is gonna be crazy. But what I'm doing right here with this little paper bag, once I did this kind of a painting, I remember at the academy in LA, and I remember how bad it looked. And I'm just gonna post it so you can see it. I struggled the same way I'm struggling right now. So that's just a testament of the fact that if you left off so it's going to catch you wherever you left it. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I even remembering that day when I was painting that paperback, I think I was showing it to you. It's somewhere down, in like in one of my piles of despair. I'll post it next to this one. So you can laugh at me and my painting skill. Well, I would. I am, so you should too. It's fun. I can barely see your colors. I can barely see colors. I need to soften this a little bit because it's just and I even remember if you what I wanted to say is that I remember my teacher, and I talked about Ron Lemon, it's a master colorist, and I remember he was giving us these setups, and I was so angry at him. I didn't understand why he's forcing me to do it, and I still have the same feeling how much I hate this. Oh God. No way that it caught me. I remember his lectures about Mansell color space. This is difficult to paint. I really don't know. How am I going to... What am I going to do? I'm just going to call it a installation, and that's it. It's going to solve a lot of problems. Okay, let me just soften this up a little bit. And then I think I'm done because I can't see anything. I'm trying to create a little bit of a texture there, right? So it's just, it doesn't it's a, so I will create a difference between a textural difference, at least, between the floor and cup and the paper bag. So and I would focus on that way more, but I simply can't right now because all my brain is just preoccupied by this. Badly chosen palette. Which I hold you responsible, by the way. But it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all fun. Okay, this Naples yellow is one of the weirdest pigments that I ever worked with. Excuse me. I mean, it wants to be a yellow ochre, but it isn't. I don't know. It really wants to be a yellow ochre. I see like a darker values here. And then there is the crease that I was talking about right here. So let's maybe put it there. And let's maybe put, oh, that might work. Let's maybe put a little bit of the writing there, right? That would be fun. So there's that might help a composition, and there is like a text right here. So I'm gonna grab this dark pigment. There's the name of the there's the name of the tea. And there is like a little line right here that goes this way. Nice, a little bit of a something, little something to break that awkwardness there. And when I said awkwardness, I mean just like a empty, you know, like a. And I'm not writing anything there. These are just a squibbly line that's supposed to help that composition. And I wanted to bring that blue closer to I wanted to introduce that blue because that's the idea behind this. I'm trying to work with that blue cup because that's a, excuse me. That's the idea behind that. painting, and then maybe I could do this. What if I take this and adjust it a little bit? Yeah, that's what I need to do. Maybe a little lighter. There is a light right here. To shape and form that shadow a little bit more accurately, right? And then it almost wants me to go a little bit more like to show that bottom part right there, and then maybe a little bit darker right here on this side, like a little edge, like a little kind of a little shadow that would be underneath that corner, because I couldn't read that shape properly, and there is a lighter value right here. Remember the little part of the lighter value that I talked about, the little triangle right here. So let's put that one in, and then maybe like a stronger orangey. See, I wanted to jump into that cadmium red, like a little bit on this side. So I want to create that top crease, right? So it's a little bit more interesting right there, and then also like a little bit here. I need a little bit more precision. There's crease right here in that. It's right here, the little crease. And then I see a darker value going down from there. Like a little more vibrant. Like so. Just a touch. I don't want it to be too much. Because it's out of a focal point, right? Well, not out of a focal point, it's in the background, it's in the distance. So I don't want it to be like overpowering. Wow, this is weird. The only thing that bothers me right now is that shadow, the cast shadow. That violet just doesn't work very well there, so. So let me just throw all kinds of pigments there to make it a little bit more vibrant. And it probably should be darker. And this is the problem that I was talking about, that I don't have that dark pigment to make it dark. I have a blue, but it's not supposed to be blue. It's supposed to be like a... All right, and then last thing that I want to do, I want to try a little bit of the reflected light right here to make a little volume. And that will be probably the last thing that I'm capable of doing here, because it's really dark. making this, I just destroyed that edge. That edge a little better, I guess. And you might want to put like a hard edge right here, but it shouldn't be a hard edge because this is the focal point. So I'm just trying to work around there a little bit. I don't think it doesn't seem symmetrical to me. That's my problem, and I can't really. Well, I could, but I don't. I would have to repaint this. I don't want to repaint this. To make it super symmetrical. So it's going to be a symmetrical cup. I'm going to pretend that it was handmade. See, I'm already starting to look for excuses. I'm going to pretend that it was handmade. Handcrafted. And that's why it's not my fault. All right, so I don't think I'm capable of making any other better adjustments to this. Maybe making this a little lighter right here. I think this is it. And not because the painting is finished, because I don't see anything anymore. Okay, let's put some finishing blows to this suffering. Bring a little bit more pigment there. Okay, and then a little bit of this. Just to form the pattern. Yeah, this is crazy, man. Okay, all right. I don't think I'm going to embarrass myself any longer here with this, but I am so happy for this experiment. Let's not do it ever again. No, this is all what Bad Painting Friday is about. So even though it feels that, you know, this is just like a crazy, like, why would you even put yourself through this? It's just forcing me to think differently about painting, and I want to step out from that comfort zone. I don't want to do the same paintings over and over and over again. So it's compositionally, this doesn't work. That bothers me probably the most, but you know, there's nothing I can do about that at this point. So yeah, this was a great exercise, actually. I'm pumped. I enjoyed this thoroughly. Just last touches to not just all that. This could be done better. And it's mostly because it's a okay, that's it. All right. I just realized something that my my yeah, I have to step back. Yeah, well, um, I am not sure about this, but okay. Well, the problem is also the position of the camera. It makes it a little hard to see, and it looks really patchy right now, even way patchier that it's in on my way patchier than what it is on my um, in my studio. I'm sorry, I'm still looking at it in my studio, and the problem is that it's really really dark here. I should probably, maybe I should turn on the light so you see a little bit more what I see, and also demonstrate if you do this, you're going to ruin your day, but it's okay. It's a part of the learning process, and it comes back to what I was talking about before, that how much I struggle, especially with these kind of really weird setups and trying to figure it out how to navigate through this, because I'm used to do things or I'm used to a certain pigments that I know how they works, what they do, and this looks really really bad when it comes to trying to find find the way through through this painting with only cobalt. We had cobalt green, cobalt violet, and cobalt blue, and then I randomly chose, I don't know why, alizarin crimson. I should have, I don't know, because because I did. And then instead of ochre, we have that Naples yellow that I have no idea what that pigment is doing. So I'm definitely pumped about another Bad Painting Friday, because these colors are crazy. I mean, and then plus we shuffle them on the palette, so they are not where it's supposed to be, which caused me a lot of brain problems. But I enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. I wish I could continue, because there is a bunch of other things that I could, improve on, and especially with the textures and so on and so forth. So I'm definitely going to do these. These challenges are the ones that we're missing, I guess, because somehow, in some way, I was able to navigate through these things, and this one is definitely the true Bad Painting Friday. I can see that the symmetry is off because I was focusing on different things. I couldn't create the proper shadow because of pigments did not allow me to do that. I don't have enough values to work with to create a kind of a convincing three-dimensional space. And on top of this, I just turn on the light and it looks completely washed or completely different. And when I'm looking at the composition right now, it would be probably better to paint it the way that I see it right now, under the artificial light, because the pigments that I used were artificial. That's kind of a and when I said artificial, I wanted to say they were foreign to me. So so yeah, true Bad Painting Friday. I almost thought that I'm going to get away with these Bad Painting Fridays, and it finally caught me. Finally, I thought that the digital painting is going to be bad. No, I should have worked with pastel pigments. That's something to really think about. So yeah, thank you for joining me. This was amazing. This was amazing experience. I'm gonna sign off, and I'm going to rethink my my bad painting Fridays streams because this is crazy. And maybe at the end, I just want to say that I totally do understand how you feel. I totally understand the struggle when you're starting to paint with the oils, and I relived it today through these bad painting Fridays, and I'm not doing it on purpose, just to make myself suffer. I'm doing it to improve the skill, because when you really think about these paintings, and actually the painting that we did today together, it's the way of doing things like colorists, true colorists, that they don't really think about value, they think about the color, and they are trying to, and impressionists are a very good example of this, or post-impressionists maybe even, working with the broken color. But when you work with the broken color and the idea of that purple, it's the darkest pigment and the coolest, and then you go coolest. Well, yes, I guess we can talk about it. It's coolest. So it's the darkest and coolest, and you can turn the form with dialing up the temperatures. That means that as I want to turn the form brighter is also a bad word. Let me rephrase that. When you look at work of colorists, and especially Monet, which is the famous one, Claude Monet, don't get him confused with Edouard Manet. So when you think about Claude Monet, he was working with there's the very famous, maybe let me pull it up, since we have a couple more minutes. There's something wrong with my YouTube connection. I don't know what's happening. Something is wrong. Anyway, it's good because nobody should see this ever. Let me maybe, or you know what? I'm just gonna. You all know. I'm pretty sure that you know what painting I'm talking about. It's a Claude Monet, and he has these paintings of cathedral that he went to that cathedral, and he was painting it under the different light condition, under the different, during different season, during different time of day, and so on and so forth. And he was really looking only for a color. And when you think about it, when you really think about it, he played with two things. Not even two things. There was two shapes there. There was a shape of cathedral and the shape of a sky behind. So two flat shapes. How he was thinking about it, and he was creating a interest through temperatures. That painting, it's very close to each other when it comes to values, but it's very different when it comes to a hues, saturations, and temperatures. And you can tell how far I am from from actually understanding the depth of the color that he understood. So that's something to really think about, and maybe look more, even for me, to look more into these beautiful pointillist paintings and impressionistic paintings, and really look for mixtures and how they dealt with the problems. Because I know what I could do right now when it comes to tone and value with the pigments that I prefer to use. I would always go back to what would Rembrandt do, right? WWRD, but it doesn't work with this palette. So it was a good experience. I appreciate you being part of this, and I don't want to necessarily talk any longer because I think that the work speaks for itself. So, no, but it's fine. It's great. I'm going to have a little bit more tea and definitely open the book with Claude Monet and other impressionists. Perhaps. It immediately reminded me also Seurat that I saw in Getty Museum in Los Angeles. Such a beautiful. He's a pointillist, and he beautifully painted it was like a seascape. It was so soft. There was no values, no harsh shadows, no nothing. But it was so beautifully painted. And when you get close to it, you could see these dots. And it's not like it's called pointillism, but these are not dots. These are more like brush strokes. So they're very short and quick brush strokes. Beautiful. So I would recommend you to do the same thing. Continue painting for first, of course, and then definitely go into these moments that you have, and you can just sit down and open the book, or maybe look through a digital file. Maybe go to that Google Art project, and ideally it would be to go to museum and see this live, these beautiful paintings, because I think that colorists are the one that you have to see live. I mean, you want to see tonalists as well, but colorists, really, that color just shines and sings. And when it's executed properly, it's a I don't even, I can't, I'm not on camera, but if you saw me, I can have these goosebumps, imagining and recalling from the memory these emotions that I had when I saw impressionistic paintings for the first time, with eyes of someone who paints rather than just a regular viewer, because I would never appreciate them as much as I do right now. So I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you work alongside with me, that you pushed yourself as much as I did, and hopefully I'll be able to be here tomorrow. But I can't promise that, because it's a weekend before Christmas, and I should probably do some light, very light. Christmas cleaning, I guess you would call it. I'm pretty sure that you expected Christmas shopping, but no, Christmas cleaning, because I collected a lot of stuff throughout the year that I have to get rid of last minute. So I'm gonna probably stream on Monday before Christmas one more time. But if I cannot make it, rather, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you soon. Enjoy these beautiful holidays, and stay cool. Take care. Bye.